In this video, we are going to define distance from a point to a set in a metric space, and then we will define distance from set to set in a metric space. The idea behind distance from a point to set is that if you have a non-empty set A in a metric space and say you have a point X and you want to find the distance between X and your set A, then we would like to say that distance from X to A is the distance from X to the nearest point of A. But unfortunately, in reality, there may not be a nearest point of A to X. So in order to capture this idea of the distance from X to A, we will settle ourselves for the infimum of the distances from X to the various points of A. Let's formally define distance from point to a set. So suppose XD is a metric space and A is subset of your metric space capital X, and let small x be any point inside your metric space X. Then distance between X to the set A is defined to be infimum of all the distances from X to the various point of your set capital A. I am writing it as D of X comma A. So infimum of D of X comma A for every A in A is defined to be the distance from point X to the set capital A. Now, of course, the distance depends on the metric which you will choose. Sometimes it is necessary to specify which metric you are using. In that case, to avoid the ambiguity, we will use the notation distance suffix D of X comma A. So D will denote the metric. It will emphasize that. Now let's see the next example which I have listed. So it says if you have a metric space X comma D, then distance from any point of X to a non-empty subset of X is always a non-negative real number, which is very obvious thing, because distance from a point to a non-empty set A, you have defined it to be infimum of D of X comma A, and D of X comma A is always greater equal 0 as D is a metric. Therefore infimum is also greater equal 0. So distance between any point to a non-empty subset of X is always going to be a non-negative real number. But what will happen if your set A is empty set? What will be the distance between X and empty set phi? So if you go by the definition, distance from X to phi is infimum of all D of X comma A, where A belongs to empty set phi. But phi does not have any element. So the set of which you are taking infimum is empty set. That means distance between X and phi is infimum of empty set. But infimum of empty set is infinity. Therefore, in that case, we say distance between X and phi is infinity. I hope all of you know why we say that infimum of empty set phi is infinity. Because see, if you take any number, any real number, say 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, the definition of infimum is it is greatest lower bound. So every number can be accepted as lower bound of empty set because it does not have any number. It does not have any element. So therefore, you can say infimum of empty set is infinity. Similarly, supremum of empty set is accepted to be minus infinity, because supremum is least upper bound, and since empty set does not have any element, every real number you can say is upper bound of empty set, and hence least among them you can accept that as minus infinity. So supremum of empty set we say is minus infinity, and infimum of empty set you can say is plus infinity. So distance between X and empty set is infinity. Let's see the next example. It says distance between any real number to set, means distance from any real number X to a set of rationals Q is always equal to 0. That means distance between X and Q is 0, where X is any arbitrary real number and Q denotes the set of rationals. Let's prove it. You take a positive real number, say R. Suppose R is a positive real number, and consider open interval X comma X plus R. Now, every element in this open interval has distance less than r from x. But we know that this interval contains some rationals also. Therefore, there are rationals whose distance from x is less than r. Now, what will be the distance from x to set of rationals q? It is the infimum of all the distances from x to the rational numbers. Now, you have the rationals whose distance from x is less than r. Therefore, you can say distance from x to set of rationals q is less than r. But r was arbitrary. That means you can say distance between x and q is less than every positive real number. That means it will imply the distance from x to q is 0. And in a similar way, you can argue that distance from x to r minus q, that is set of irrationals, is also equal to 0. Now, next we will extend the idea of distance from a point to set. Now we will extend this to distance from set to set. So again, we will define it to be, if you have a say metric space x comma d and you have two subsets a and b, then we define distance from a to b equal to infimum of d of ab, where a belongs to a and b belong to b. So you take all the elements of a and all the elements of b and find out the distance with respect to the metric d between every point of a to every point of b, and then you take the infimum of that set, that is called the distance between a to b, set a to b. Sometime, to avoid ambiguity, we need to mention the this metric or the metric space which you are dealing. So sometime we use this notation also. If you want to emphasize the metric, we will denote it by distance of a comma b suffix d, distance suffix d. And if we want to emphasize the metric space, then we will say distance suffix capital X, where it denotes the metric space of a comma b. Let's see the next example. It says distance between any two non-empty subset of x is non-negative real number, which is again an obvious thing, because if you have subset a and b and you want to find non-empty subsets a and b and you want to find out distance between a and b, then it will be all infimum of d of small a comma b, where a belongs to a and b belongs to b. Now since d is metric, d of a comma b is greater equal 0 for every a and b, therefore infimum will be greater equal 0. Hence you can say that distance between any two non-empty sets a and b is always greater equal 0. That means it is a non-negative real numbers. There are many cases where this distance between set a and b will be 0 also. One obvious case is if a intersection b is not empty. That means there are certain points which are common in a and b, then certainly the distance between a and b has to be 0, because there are, say if you have a point small x in your set a as well as set b, so you are taking infimum of distances between the point of a and b. So x belongs to a as well as x belongs to b. Therefore you will have distance between x comma x which will be equal to 0, and since d of any element are greater equal 0, it cannot come below 0. So you can say that infimum of distances between the points of a and b is 0. Hence distance between a and b is 0 if intersection is not empty. But there are cases where the sets are disjoint, still the distance between them is 0. One of such example I have given here. In set of real number, you consider an open interval 0, 1 and open interval 1, 2. Both the intervals are disjoint, but distance between these two sets 0, 1 and 1, 2 is equal to 0. Now what will happen if we take one of the set to be one of the set to be empty set? That means we want to find out distance between a to empty set phi. Then it will be infimum of d of a comma b, where b belongs to empty set, a belong to a, but empty set does not have any element. Therefore the infimum of the set which we are taking, that set is empty. So distance between a and phi is infimum of empty set. And infimum of empty set we have discussed is infinity. Therefore distance between a and empty set is equal to infinity for every subset a of your metric space X. So this was distance from a set to set. Next term which we want to define is diameter. Now whenever in your plane geometry you talk about diameter of a circle. And how do you define your diameter of a circle? If you want to define it in terms of distance, it is the maximum distance between 2 points of your circle. Now we will extend this idea to the general metric space. Let's see how we can extend it. If you have a metric space X comma D and you have a subset A, then diameter of A is defined to be supremum of distance between R and S, where R and S belong to A. That means it is the supremum of distance between 2 points of A. And we denote this by DIAM of A. So it will denote the diameter of A. And again, if we want to emphasize the metric, we will write DIAM suffix D of A. Now, this first example which I have given, see, we are least interested in the empty set. Still I have just written it. What will be the, what you can say, diameter of empty set? So diameter of empty set is supremum of distance between 2 points of empty set, but empty set does not have any element. So supremum of the set which you are taking, that set is empty. So diameter of empty set is supremum of empty set, but supremum of empty set is minus infinity. Therefore we say diameter of empty set is minus infinity. And if you have a singleton element set, that means if your set contains only a single element, in that case obviously the diameter has to be 0, because if you have a singleton element, say X, then there is only one possibility you can take distance from X to X, and that will be 0. So diameter will be 0 in that case. And every non-empty subset of your non-empty set of your metric space has diameter greater equal 0. In fact, in certain case it can go up to infinity also, so that I have included. So your diameter will be greater equal 0. Next lemma, small lemma, it says that if you have a metric space X comma D and an element X is there in your metric space X and R is any positive real number, then diameter of open ball BXR is always less equal 2 times R. Now to prove, you will use the triangle inequality for metric. So suppose you have two elements Y and Z inside your open ball BXR. By triangle inequality of metric, you will have D of YZ is less equal D of YX plus D of XZ. Now, since Y and Z belong to BXR, distance from Y to X is less than R and distance from Z to X is also less than R. So you can say this D of YX plus D of XZ is less than R plus R, which is 2R. Now D of YZ for means Y and Z were two arbitrary element in your open ball BXR, and you got the D of YZ is less than 2R. That will imply that supremum of D of YZ, where Y and Z are belonging to your open ball BXR, will be less equal 2R, and that proves that diameter of BXR is less equal 2R, because diameter is defined to be supremum of this set only. So that proves that diameter of an open ball of radius R is less equal 2R. In fact, the equality also can occur. You can think of example where the equality will occur. The next theorem, suppose you have a metric space X comma D and A and B are subsets of X with the condition A is subset of B. Then diameter of A is less equal diameter of B. Now again, you have to just follow the definition and the inequality will be proved automatically. What will be if you take this set, that means distance between any 2 points of A, that means D of C comma A I am denoting, where C and A belong to A. Since C and A belong to A, and A is subset of B, C and A belong to B also. Therefore, this set will be subset of D of E comma B, where E and B belongs to B. That means in this later set, I have considered distance between every 2 points of B. So this set D of C comma A, where C and A belongs to A, is subset of D of E comma B, where E and B belongs to B, and therefore supremum of first set is less equal to supremum of the next set. That means supremum of D of C comma A, where C and A belong to A, is less equal supremum of D of E comma B, where E and B belongs to B. And that proves that diameter of A is less equal diameter of B, and that was the inequality which was required. In fact, even if A is proper subset of B, equality may occur. You can think of an example. Very nice and simple examples are there. You can think of such examples. Strict inequality might be there, but equality also occur even if A is proper subset of B. And very nice example, if you want to give in set of real number, you can consider, say, your set B to be open interval 1 comma 5, and say your A is open interval 1 comma 2 union open interval 4 comma 5. In that case, A is subset of B, in fact proper subset of B, but diameter of both the sets will be equal. That will be 5 minus 1, which is equal to 4. You can work out on that. I'll go for the next theorem. Now this theorem does not deal with general metric space. It only deals with set of real numbers. So you should keep that in mind. Via this theorem, the result which we are stating is only for set of real numbers R. It is not true in general metric space. So suppose S is a subset of R. Then the theorem says diameter of S is equal to supremum of S minus infimum of S. So first we will consider first case. Suppose your set S is empty set phi. In that case, you will have infimum of S to be infinity and supremum of S to be minus infinity. So diameter of S will be equal to supremum of D of A comma B, where A and B means A and B belong to empty set, but empty set does not have any element. So the same argument goes. So diameter of S will be supremum of a empty set, and supremum of empty set is minus infinity, and therefore minus infinity, and can you say minus infinity is equal to supremum of S minus infimum of S? So yes, because supremum of S will be minus infinity minus of infimum of S, which is plus infinity. So it will be minus infinity equal to minus infinity only. Therefore diameter of S, which we got to be minus infinity, is equal to supremum of S minus infimum of S in this case. So the theorem which we are saying is true in this case. Second, we assume supremum of S to be supremum of S to be infinity. Now we are not making any condition on infimum here. Only we know that supremum of S is infinity. In that case, you take any element B in S and a positive real number P. Since supremum is infinity, there will be a element A which will be greater than B plus P. Otherwise, if you cannot find any element A which is greater than B plus P, that will mean that A is B plus P is an upper bound, and that will prove that supremum is finite. So that will be a contradiction. Therefore, there exists an element A which will be strictly greater than B plus P. If you shift B, you will have A minus B is greater than P. That means there are two elements such that distance between those two elements, which we are denoting by A and B, is greater than P, and diameter of S is supremum of all such distances. Therefore diameter of S will be strictly greater than P. But what was P? P was any arbitrary positive real number. Therefore you can say diameter of S is strictly greater than every positive real number. That means diameter of S is equal to infinity. Now can you say that this this infinity is equal to supremum of s minus infimum of s in this case. So yes, you can say, because what is supremum of s? It is infinity. Now doesn't matter what infimum of s is, whether it is plus infinity, minus infinity, or it is equal to any finite number. In fact, infimum of s will not be equal to plus infinity, because infimum of s is equal to plus infinity only if your set is empty set. So it doesn't matter what condition on your infimum of set s is there, supremum of s minus infimum of s will be equal to infinity, as supremum of s is infinity. Therefore, in this case also you have proved diameter of s is equal to supremum of s minus infimum of s. Now a similar argument you can make, and you can prove that this statement will be true in the case where infimum of s is equal to minus infinity. I will just quickly go through it. If you have a case where infimum of s is minus infinity, we are not making any condition on supremum of s. Now what we'll have, if you take any element b inside your set, since infimum of s is minus infinity, you can find an element a such that a is strictly less than b minus p. Otherwise, if you cannot find such a, that will mean that b minus p is an lower bound, and since b minus p is a finite quantity, it will mean that infimum of s is also a finite, but that is not the case. That will be a contradiction. Therefore, you can find an element a such that a is less than b minus p, and if you do some shifting, you can say that p is less than b minus a, but p is any arbitrary real number and b minus a are two elements of your set s. So you will have this, that means you will have two elements a and b such that distance between a and b will be strictly greater than p, and that will mean that diameter of s is strictly greater than p. In that case also, diameter of s will be equal to then infinity. Now will it be equal to supremum of s minus infimum of s? So I don't know, means we don't know what the supremum of s is, but that doesn't matter. What will be minus infimum of s? Infimum of s is minus infinity, so minus of minus infinity, it will be plus infinity, and it is added to anything will be plus infinity only. So in that case also, diameter of s will be equal to supremum of s minus infimum of s. So that proves in that case. Now we will come to the case where both supremum and infimum are finite real numbers. So this I have written, suppose infimum of s and supremum of s both are real number, that means they are finite. You take a positive real number r, arbitrary positive real number r. Now by definition of infimum, if you add a small quantity also to the infimum, it will not remain the lower bound, correct? Therefore, you can always find an a such that a is less than infimum of s plus any quantity. Here that quantity I am taking it to be r by 2. So there will exist an a such that a is less than infimum of s plus r by 2. In other word, I can write it as a minus r by 2 is less than infimum of s. And infimum of s is lower bound for your set s, greatest lower bound in fact. So it will be less equal a, because a is member of your set capital S. Now by definition of supremum, if you subtract any small quantity from supremum, it will not remain the upper bound. Therefore, supremum of s minus any quantity will be less equal some element of your set capital S. So therefore, you can say there exists an element b such that supremum of s is less equal b plus r by 2. Since supremum of s minus r by 2 will be less equal b, you can shift r by 2 and you can say supremum of s less equal b plus r by 2. So you will have an inequality, this kind of thing, a minus r by 2 less than infimum of s. That means there exist a and b such that a minus r by 2 is less than infimum of s, which is less equal a, and I can say a is less equal b and b is less equal supremum of s. Why I can say b is greater equal a? Because here I am saying it is less equal supremum of s, so I can assume my b is greater equal a. So supremum of S and supremum of S is less equal B plus R by 2. Now what I will do, I will subtract infimum of S from supremum of S. Okay. So what I have, infimum of S is greater than A minus R by 2. Therefore minus infimum of S will be less than minus of A minus R by 2. Therefore I will have supremum of S minus infimum of S less equal B minus B plus R by 2, that was here, minus of A minus R by 2, that means B minus A plus R by 2 plus R by 2, which is R. So I will have supremum of S minus infimum of S is less equal B minus A plus R. But B minus A is distance between A and B. So distance between A and B will be less equal supremum of all the distances between the points of S. Therefore, I can say B minus A is less equal diameter of S. So the whole quantity B minus A plus R is less equal diameter of S plus R. So you have supremum of S minus infimum of S is less equal diameter of S plus R. But R was any arbitrary positive real number. So you can say that supremum of S minus infimum of S is less equal diameter of S, because R was arbitrary, so you can make it as small as you want. But I want to prove that these two quantities are equal. So I will prove that supremum of S minus infimum of S is greater equal also from diameter of S, and that will prove that these two quantities should be same. So for the next part, you assume you take any element X and Y in your set S, then you will have infimum of S is less equal X is less equal supremum of S. That is the definition of infimum and supremum. By definition of the infimum and supremum, you will have this. And similarly, infimum of S is less equal Y, and Y is less equal supremum of S. You can assume Y is greater than X. There is no harm in that. Now if I do Y minus X, X was greater equal infimum of S. Therefore minus X will be less equal minus infimum of S. So you will have Y minus X. I can say it is mod of Y minus X, because I said that you can assume Y is greater than X. So mod Y minus X is less equal supremum of S minus infimum of S. So it is true for every arbitrary element X and Y. Therefore supremum of this mod Y minus X is also less equal supremum of S minus infimum of S. So you will have diameter of S is less equal supremum of S minus infimum of S. Here you prove that supremum of S minus infimum of S is less equal diameter of S. Here you proved supremum of S minus infimum of S is greater equal diameter of S, and that will prove that supremum of S minus infimum of S is equal to diameter of S in this case also. And that proves the theorem which we wanted to prove. Again, I will emphasize this theorem is true only for set of real numbers R. Here I am not talking about any general metric space. This example, once we prove this theorem, the next example automatically follows. If you consider the interval of type open interval a comma b, closed at a, open at b, open at a, closed at b, closed interval a comma b, all these interval will have diameter b minus a, because every interval of such kind had supremum b and infimum a. So supremum of set minus infimum of set will be b minus a. So diameter will be b minus a. So from that theorem it follows immediately. And these kind of intervals, a open a infinity, closed at a comma open infinity, open at minus infinity comma open at b, open at minus infinity, closed at b, then minus infinity comma infinity, all these will have diameter equal to infinity. That will directly follow from the theorem.